Okay, let's be real. You've got that one big, important thing you know you need to do. You really do. But suddenly, organizing your bookshelf by color seems like the most urgent task in the world. We've all been there, right? And we're always told it's because we're lazy or bad at managing our time. But what if that's completely wrong? What if there's a much deeper, more scientific reason? Let's get into it.
So let's just bust that myth right now. Procrastination is not a character flaw. It has nothing to do with being lazy or undisciplined. The science is actually showing us something way more fascinating. It's an issue that's hardwired deep in our biology, and it's basically a battle happening inside your own head.
I'm not kidding. When you're staring down a stressful task, like a huge report for work, your brain doesn't really know the difference between that and a literal predator. It's a survival instinct kicking in, trying to protect you from what it thinks is a very real threat.
To put a finer point on it, scientists call this a form of self-regulation failure. All that means is it's a moment where you voluntarily choose to put something off, even though you are fully, 100% aware that future you is going to pay the price. So it's not that you forgot, it's that you actively chose later. And this little failure to self-regulate, it happens because there's a full-on power struggle happening in your brain. It's a fight between the old-school emotional part of your brain and the modern logical part. So let's meet the two fighters in the ring. So in one corner, you've got your prefrontal cortex. This is your inner CEO. It's the part that thinks about the future, makes rational plans, and says, let's get this done. But in the other corner, you have the limbic system. Think of this as the toddler of your brain. It's ancient, it's impulsive, and it only cares about what feels good right now. When a task feels boring or difficult, the limbic system throws a tantrum and screams, no, do something fun instead. And, it's surprisingly good at winning that argument.
So how does the toddler win? Well, it has a secret weapon. Tucked inside the limbic system is this little thing called the amygdala. It's your brain's alarm bell. And when it senses the stress from that big project, it can mistake it for a real danger and sound the alarm. This is what we call an amygdala hijack. It floods your system with stress hormones and basically shuts down your rational brain. Good luck thinking about long-term goals when your brain is in full-on fight-or-flight mode.
So, your brain's being hijacked by emotion, but that's not all. There's another little mental glitch that makes putting things off feel like a totally logical move. Turns out, our brains are just terrible at math, especially when it comes to valuing the future.
This glitch is called hyperbolic discounting. It sounds super technical, but the idea is simple. Your brain is programmed to want good things now. The immediate relief you get from not doing that hard task feels way more real and valuable than some abstract reward you might get way down the road.
Let's try it. I offer you $50 right here, right now. Or you can have $100, but you have to wait 6 months. What's your gut reaction? Well, a ton of people will grab the instant 50. That immediate cash just feels so much more powerful than the promise of more money later.
Okay, same deal, but let's shift it. How about $50 in 3 months or $100 in 9 months? Now it's still a 6-month wait for double the money. But suddenly, almost everyone picks the $100. Why? Because when both rewards are off in the future, that urgent, I want it now feeling disappears, and your rational brain can finally do the math.
And this chart really shows you what's going on in your head. The value your brain places on a reward just falls off a cliff almost immediately. That feeling of relief you get from watching Netflix right now feels massive compared to the vague sense of accomplishment you'll get next week. So in the moment, procrastination feels like a really smart trade.
But we all know it's not a smart trade. The cost is so much higher than just a late project or a night of panicked work. When procrastination becomes a habit, it takes a serious toll on our mental health.
A lot of the time, what we call procrastination is really just fear wearing a different mask. It can be a fear of failure, if I never finish it, no one can judge it. It could be perfectionism. The standards are so impossibly high that it feels safer to just not even start. And believe it or not, it can even be a fear of success and the new pressure that comes with it.
And all this leads to a really nasty, vicious cycle. You delay a task, which makes you feel stressed. Then you get mad at yourself for delaying it, which makes you feel even more stressed and guilty. All that negative self-talk just kills your motivation, making it even harder to start the next time.
All right, enough of the bad news. Here's the good part. Now that we know how our brains are wired, we can actually use these little quirks against themselves. We can outsmart our own instincts. Let me show you how.
Okay, this one is from Mel Robbins, and it's brilliant. The second you have an impulse to work on something, like I should really start that email, you have a 5-second window before your brain kills the idea with doubt or excuses.
The trick is to count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That countdown interrupts the habit of hesitating, wakes up your rational brain, and then you just move, physically move, get up and walk to your desk.
Here's another fun one we can use. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. You know how after a cliffhanger ending on a TV show, you can't stop thinking about it? That's the Zeigarnik effect. Our brains absolutely hate unfinished business. They crave closure.
So, how do we weaponize this? You make starting ridiculously easy. Tell yourself you're only going to work on that huge project for 5 minutes. That's it. Anyone can do 5 minutes, but by starting, you've opened a loop in your brain. The task is now in progress, and that little bit of mental tension will actually make it easier to come back to. You're using your brain's own nagging tendencies to your advantage.
But, all these little brain hacks are great, but the research is pointing to one thing that's more powerful than anything else, and it's probably the last thing you'd expect. It's being kind to yourself.
Remember that horrible cycle of delaying, feeling guilty, and feeling stressed? Well, beating yourself up is the fuel that keeps that fire burning. Study after study shows that people who practice self-compassion, who actually forgive themselves for procrastinating, experience less stress and are way more likely to just get started on the task next time.
So maybe the next time you catch yourself scrolling on your phone instead of working, don't beat yourself up. Just take a breath. Acknowledge that your brain is just doing its weird, ancient, protective thing. Forgive yourself for the moment of delay. Because what if breaking the cycle isn't about more willpower, but about more understanding? Now that's an idea worth getting started on.